The jungle of Kasara 9 breathed with hostility. Every vine, every shadow, every rustle carried the weight of unknown danger. Jessica wiped the sweat from her brow, her scanner flickering erratically in her hand. The magnetic storms had knocked out their primary navigation systems 3 hours ago, leaving her and Jack stranded in territory no human had ever mapped. "Contact ahead," Jack whispered, his hand moving instinctively to the plasma pistol at his hip. His military training never left him, even 2 years into their scientific expedition. Jessica peered through the dense foliage. What she saw made her blood run cold. 12 figures emerged from the tree line, massive bipedal creatures standing nearly 3 meters tall. Their bodies were covered in midnight blue fur that seemed to absorb light itself, and their eyes glowed an amber gold that pierced through the shadows. Each one carried a spear tipped with what looked like sharpened obsidian. The weapons pointed directly at the 2 humans, the Krathkar, the apex predators of Kesara 9, the species that had destroyed 3 robotic survey teams and forced 2 colonies to abandon the planet entirely. "Don't move," Jessica breathed. Her heart hammered against her ribs, but she kept her hands visible, away from any weapons. "Jack, do not reach for your gun." "They're surrounding us," Jack replied, his voice tight with controlled fear. The largest Krathkar, presumably the Pack Alpha, stepped forward. Its muzzle pulled back to reveal rows of serrated teeth designed to tear through armor and bone. A low growl rumbled from its chest, a sound that Jessica felt in her very core. Then she heard it, a small, pitiful cry. Her eyes darted to the left, where a smaller figure lay crumpled against a fallen tree, a cub. Its leg was twisted at an unnatural angle, and dark blood matted its silver fur. The little creature whimpered, trying desperately to crawl toward the adults, but unable to move. The Alpha's growl intensified. It raised its spear higher. "They think we heard it," Jessica realized aloud. The pieces fell into place, the aggressive posture, the coordinated encirclement, the protective fury in their eyes. "Jack, they think we're responsible." "We need to run," Jack said urgently. "On my mark, no." Jessica's voice was firm. "Running confirms guilt." "We stay. Jessica." She was already moving. Slowly, deliberately, she lowered herself to her knees, then placed both hands palm down on the ground in what she hoped was a universal gesture of non-aggression. The spears tracked her movement, and she heard the clicking sounds of the Krathkar communicating in their native language. "What are you doing?" Jack hissed. "Something stupid," she admitted, "or something that might save our lives. Maybe both." Keeping her movement slow and visible, Jessica began crawling toward the injured cub. The adult Krathkar's vocalizations grew louder, more agitated. She could hear Jack breathing heavily behind her, fighting every instinct to grab her and pull her back 3 meters from the cub. The Alpha took a threatening step forward, 2 meters. Another Krathkar jabbed its spear in her direction, stopping just centimeters from her shoulder, 1 meter. The cub looked at her with eyes full of pain and fear, its small chest heaving with rapid breaths. Jessica reached the young Krathkar and sat back on her heels. She could smell the blood now, mixed with an unfamiliar musk that reminded her of cinnamon and ozone. The cub whimpered again, trying to crawl away from her despite its broken leg. "I know," Jessica whispered softly. "I know you're scared. I'm scared too." She pulled the medical kit from her belt with agonizing slowness. The spears remained fixed on her, but no one had struck yet. That had to mean something. Very carefully, she opened the kit and retrieved a dermal regenerator, one of the few pieces of technology still functioning after the magnetic storm. The cub trembled as she approached its injured leg. Jessica began humming, an old lullaby her mother had sung to her, something wordless and gentle. She activated the regenerator, letting its soft blue light wash over the broken limb. The cub's whimpering quieted, its rapid breathing slowed. Jessica worked quickly but carefully, using every bit of her xenobiological training to stabilize the fracture. The Krathkar watched in absolute silence now, their spears still raised but motionless. She could feel their eyes burning into her back. 5 minutes later, the cub's leg was stabilized. It wouldn't be perfect, the creature would need more advanced medical care, but the immediate danger was past. The little Krathkar tentatively tested its weight on the leg and managed to stand, wobbling but alive. Jessica looked into the cub's golden eyes and smiled. Then, following an impulse she couldn't quite explain, she leaned forward and pressed her lips gently to its forehead, just between its small, budding horns. The cub made a soft chirping sound, almost like a purr. Jessica stood slowly, turning to face the alpha. She could see Jack in her peripheral vision, pale and tense, his hand still hovering near his weapon. For a long moment, nothing happened. The jungle held its breath. Then the alpha lowered its spear. One by one, the other Krathkar did the same. The massive creature approached Jessica, each footfall shaking the ground. It stopped directly in front of her, so close she could see her reflection in its amber eyes. The alpha reached out with one massive clawed hand and placed it gently on Jessica's shoulder. Its touch was surprisingly delicate. Then it vocalized, a series of clicks and low rumbles that she didn't understand but somehow felt in her bones. It wasn't a threat. It was something else entirely. Gratitude. The alpha stepped back and gestured to its pack. The Krathkar parted, creating a clear path through their ranks. The cub limped over to its parent, chattering excitedly and looking back at Jessica with what she could have sworn was fondness. "They're letting us go," Jack breathed in disbelief. Jessica nodded, her legs suddenly weak with released tension. "Not just letting us go," she said, watching as the alpha raised one massive fist to its chest in what looked like a salute. "I think they're saying thank you." As the two humans walked through the corridor of towering warriors, Jessica understood something fundamental about the universe. Weapons and technology could conquer worlds, but compassion, simple, genuine compassion, could bridge the gap between species that had never shared a single word. The Krathkar had lowered their spears, not because they feared humanity's weapons, but because one human had chosen kindness over fear, and that, Jessica thought, was the greatest strength humanity possessed.